Hello everyone and welcome to today's presentation. I'm Assoc, Prof. Yasser M. Madany, and I'm excited to have you here. I'm a senior member of IEE and URSI. Today we're going to explore an important topic, Introduction to Spreadsheets within the realm of information technology. Over the next few slides, we'll cover the basics of spreadsheets, their significance, and how they're used in various applications. So let's get started and make this session informative and engaging. Let's take a moment to look at today's outline. This slide will give you a roadmap of what we'll be covering throughout the presentation. First, we'll start with an overview of the main topics, so you know what to expect. Then, we'll dive into each section in detail, exploring key concepts and insights. I'll also highlight the most important points to keep in mind as we go along. Finally, I'll connect everything back to our overall theme, so that all the pieces come together and make sense in a broader context. This outline is designed to guide you through the presentation smoothly and help you stay engaged with the material. Let's take a moment to look at this overview slide. Here, I want to walk you through the key points that will guide our discussion today. First, we'll explore the main concepts that underpin our topic, giving you a clear understanding of the foundation. Then, we'll connect these ideas to the broader theme of our presentation, emphasizing how they fit into the bigger picture. The goal is to provide a thorough yet conversational overview, so you can see how each piece relates and why it matters. By the end of this slide, you'll have a solid grasp of what to expect and how everything ties together. A spreadsheet is a computer program that helps us organize information in a very structured way. It displays data in rows and columns, which makes it easy to see and understand. Not only that, but it also allows us to perform calculations directly within the spreadsheet, which saves a lot of time and effort. Now let's talk about how the rows and columns are labeled. Rows are numbered sequentially, starting from 1, which makes it simple to identify a specific row. Columns, on the other hand, are labeled with letters of the alphabet, like A, B, C, and so on. This combination of row numbers and column letters helps us pinpoint any cell uniquely. And that's the basic building block of a spreadsheet. Any cell is defined by its row number and column letter, like A1 or C3. This system makes navigating and referencing data straightforward, especially when working with large amounts of information. So, in essence, a spreadsheet is a powerful tool that organizes data in a clear, manageable way, enabling us to analyze and work with information efficiently. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, a spreadsheet is essentially a digital grid made up of rows and columns. It's a tool that helps us organize, calculate, and analyze data in a very structured way. Think of it like a digital ledger or a table where you can input various types of information. The most important concept here is that spreadsheets are not just about storing data. They also allow us to perform calculations automatically, which saves us a lot of time and reduces errors. This makes spreadsheets incredibly powerful for tasks like budgeting, data analysis, or even tracking project progress. Connecting this to the overall theme of our presentation, understanding what a spreadsheet is sets the foundation for mastering how to use these tools effectively in various real-world scenarios. It's all about turning raw data into meaningful insights. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, a spreadsheet is essentially a digital grid made up of rows and columns, where you can organize, analyze, and store data. Think of it like a digital ledger or a giant table that helps you keep track of information in a clear and structured way. The key idea here is that spreadsheets allow you to manipulate data easily. You can perform calculations, sort data, filter information, and even create visual representations like charts. This makes them incredibly powerful tools for making sense of large amounts of data quickly. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding what a spreadsheet is forms the foundation for learning how to manage data efficiently. Whether you're budgeting, analyzing sales, or planning projects, spreadsheets are central tools that enable you to work smarter, not harder. Let's talk about managing spreadsheets and answer the question, what is a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet is essentially a digital grid made up of rows and columns where you can organize, calculate, and analyze data. It's a powerful tool that helps us handle large amounts of information in a structured way. Think of it like a digital ledger, where you can input numbers, text, or formulas to perform calculations automatically. This makes data management much more efficient and reduces the chances of errors compared to manual calculations. Understanding spreadsheets is fundamental because they are widely used in many fields, from finance and accounting to project management and data analysis. Throughout this presentation, you'll see how mastering spreadsheets can streamline your work and improve your decision-making process. Let's take a moment to talk about what a spreadsheet actually is. Essentially, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns where you can organize, analyze, and store data efficiently. It's like a digital table that helps you keep your information neat and accessible. When we talk about managing spreadsheets, we're referring to the various menu options and tools available to customize and manipulate this data. These options let you format cells, perform calculations, create charts, and much more. Understanding how to navigate and utilize these menu options is key to becoming proficient in working with spreadsheets. This skill connects to our overall theme of improving productivity and data management in today's digital workspace. Now let's take a closer look at managing spreadsheets through menu options. First, you might be wondering, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns where you can organize, analyze, and store data efficiently. It's like a digital version of a ledger or a table, but much more dynamic. Understanding what a spreadsheet is helps us grasp how menu options allow us to manipulate and work with this data effectively. Whether we're entering new information, formatting cells, performing calculations, or generating charts, these menu options are the tools that make all of that possible. As we explore the different menu options, keep in mind that they're designed to streamline your workflow and enhance your ability to analyze data quickly. This is a key part of mastering spreadsheets, knowing how to navigate and utilize these options confidently. So, as we move forward, remember that managing spreadsheets isn't just about entering data. It's about using the right tools at the right time to make your data work for you. Let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically entering cell data. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, it's a digital grid made up of rows and columns where you can store and organize data. Think of it like a digital ledger or a table that helps you keep track of information efficiently. When you're working with spreadsheets, entering data into cells is one of the most fundamental tasks. Each cell can hold different types of information, numbers, text, dates, or formulas, that help you analyze and make sense of your data. Understanding how to input data correctly is essential because it forms the foundation for all your calculations and data management. This is a key part of mastering spreadsheets, which ties into the overall theme of how we can use these tools to improve productivity and accuracy in handling information. Now let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically entering cell data. You might wonder, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, a spreadsheet is essentially a grid made up of rows and columns where you can input, organize, and analyze data. Think of it as a digital table that helps you keep track of information in a structured way. When you're working in a spreadsheet, entering data into cells, those tiny boxes where rows and columns intersect, is your first step. This might seem simple, but it's fundamental because all the calculations, charts, and analysis stem from that initial data entry. Remember, the way you input data can affect how easily you can manipulate or interpret it later. So, mastering how to manage and enter data accurately into your spreadsheet is key to making it a powerful tool for your work or projects. Let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on row and column titles. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? At its core, a spreadsheet is a grid of cells where you can organize, analyze, and visualize data. The key to making spreadsheets effective is understanding how to use row and column titles properly. These titles serve as labels that help you identify what each row and column represent, making your data much easier to navigate and interpret. When you set clear, descriptive titles, it becomes much simpler to find the information you need quickly and avoid confusion. This idea ties into our overall theme of efficient data management, because well-organized spreadsheets with proper headings enhance clarity and usability. Remember, good titles are the foundation of making your spreadsheets a powerful tool for decision-making and analysis. Now let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on formatting cells and worksheets. But first, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Essentially, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns where we can store, organize, and analyze data. It's a powerful tool that helps us visualize information clearly and efficiently. When working with spreadsheets, formatting plays a crucial role because it helps us highlight important data, make information more readable, and give our sheets a professional look. This includes things like changing font styles, colors, cell borders, and number formats. And don't forget about managing entire worksheets. Renaming tabs, moving sheets, or hiding parts of your data can make your work more organized and easier to navigate. Understanding how to manage these formatting options is key to making your spreadsheets not just functional, but also visually appealing and easy to interpret. This ties back to the overall theme of using spreadsheets effectively to communicate data clearly and professionally. Welcome to slide 14, where we'll be talking about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on formatting cells and worksheets. First, let's clarify, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, at its core, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns. Each intersection is called a cell, and these cells are where you input and organize your data. Understanding this layout helps us appreciate how formatting can make our data more readable and visually appealing. When we talk about formatting cells, we're referring to customizing the appearance of individual cells or groups of cells, things like changing fonts, colors, borders, and number formats. Proper formatting not only makes your data easier to interpret, but also highlights important information. Similarly, managing worksheets involves organizing your entire spreadsheet, adding, deleting, renaming sheets, and rearranging them to suit your workflow. This keeps your data structured and accessible, especially when working with large datasets. Throughout this presentation, we'll see how these formatting and management tools are essential for creating professional and effective spreadsheets. They help us communicate our data clearly and efficiently, which is really the key to making spreadsheets a powerful tool in any data-driven project. Let's talk about managing spreadsheets and styles. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, a spreadsheet is a digital grid of rows and columns where you can organize, analyze, and store data efficiently. Think of it like a digital ledger or a table that helps you see patterns and make calculations easily. It's a powerful tool for managing information in a clear and structured way. Understanding what a spreadsheet is helps us appreciate how styling and formatting can make our data more readable and visually appealing. When we talk about managing spreadsheets, styles play a crucial role in highlighting important data, differentiating sections, or simply making the entire sheet easier to navigate. So, in essence, a spreadsheet isn't just about the raw data. It's about how you present and organize that data to support better decision-making. This ties into the overall theme of working smarter with digital tools, making data both accessible and impactful. Managing spreadsheet styles. So, what is a spreadsheet? Well, at its core, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns where you can organize, analyze, and visualize data. It's like a super flexible table that allows you to perform calculations, create charts, and track information all in one place. Understanding this foundational concept is key because it ties into how we manage and present data effectively. When we talk about styles in spreadsheets, we're referring to how we format and design these tables to make them clearer and more professional. So, mastering styles helps us communicate our data more effectively, which is a crucial part of managing spreadsheets successfully. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, at its core, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns that allows us to organize, analyze, and store data efficiently. Think of it like a digital ledger or a giant table where you can input numbers, text, and formulas. This structure makes it incredibly easy to perform calculations, create reports, and visualize data through charts or graphs. The beauty of spreadsheets is that they're not just static tables. They're dynamic tools that help us make sense of complex information quickly. Connecting this to our overall theme of managing information, spreadsheets are essential because they give us the power to handle large amounts of data in an organized way, making decision-making much more straightforward. Now let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically merging and splitting cells. These are essential skills that help us organize our data more effectively. When we talk about spreadsheets, we're referring to tools like Excel or Google Sheets, which are powerful for data analysis and presentation. Understanding how to merge cells allows us to combine multiple cells into one, which is especially useful for creating headers or highlighting important sections. On the other hand, splitting cells is just as important when we need to break down information that was initially combined. For example, separating a full name into first and last names. These techniques are fundamental for maintaining clarity and readability in our spreadsheets. They also tie into the overall theme of efficient data management, making sure our information is well organized and easy to interpret. Mastering merging and splitting cells ultimately helps us present data more professionally and makes our spreadsheets more adaptable to different needs. Now let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically how to hide and unhide columns and rows. This is a useful skill because sometimes your data can get overwhelming, and hiding certain parts can make it easier to focus on what's important. When you hide columns or rows, they're still there, but they're just not visible on the screen. It helps keep your spreadsheet neat and organized. So what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, it's a grid of cells arranged in rows and columns, used for organizing, analyzing, and storing data. Think of it as a digital table that allows you to perform calculations, sort data, and create reports. The key point here is that managing the visibility of your data makes your work more efficient. Whether you're hiding columns that contain formulas you don't need to see right now or rows with data you want to temporarily conceal, these tools are essential. Remember, hiding and unhiding is straightforward. It's a quick way to customize your view and focus on the most relevant information at any given time. This ties into the overall theme of mastering spreadsheet management to work smarter, not harder. Let's take a closer look at managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on page layout options. When we talk about a spreadsheet, we're referring to a grid of rows and columns used to organize, analyze, and visualize data. These spreadsheets are incredibly versatile tools that help us manage information efficiently. Page layout options are essential because they allow us to customize how our spreadsheets look when printed or shared. This includes adjusting margins, orientation, and size, which can make our data more readable and professional. Understanding these layout options ensures that our spreadsheets are not only functional but also presentable, especially when sharing reports or summaries. In the context of our overall theme, mastering page layout options helps us communicate our data more effectively, whether we're preparing for a presentation, a report, or simply organizing information for better clarity. Let's take a closer look at managing spreadsheets, specifically the page layout options. First, what is a spreadsheet? Well, a spreadsheet is essentially a grid of cells where you can store, organize, and analyze data. It's a powerful tool for managing information efficiently. When we're working with spreadsheets, especially for printing or sharing, understanding page layout options becomes crucial. These options help us control how our data appears on the page, ensuring everything fits well and looks professional. So, whether you're preparing a report or just organizing data, knowing how to adjust page layout settings can make a big difference in how your spreadsheet is viewed and used. This ties into the overall theme of mastering tools to communicate information clearly and effectively. Let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on formulas and functions. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, at its core, a spreadsheet is a digital grid made up of rows and columns where you can organize, analyze, and store data. It's like having a digital ledger that helps you handle complex calculations with ease. The key point here is that spreadsheets are powerful tools for managing data efficiently, especially when you need to perform calculations or analyze information regularly. Instead of doing manual math every time, you can use formulas and functions to automate these tasks, saving you time and reducing errors. This ties directly into the overall theme of the presentation, showing how technology enhances productivity and accuracy. By mastering formulas and functions, you're essentially empowering yourself to work smarter, not harder, with your data. So, understanding what a spreadsheet is and how to use its core features sets the foundation for effective data management and decision-making. Now, let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on formulas and functions. A key part of this is understanding what a spreadsheet actually is. Think of a spreadsheet as a digital grid made up of rows and columns, where you can input and organize data. It's essentially a tool that helps you analyze information, perform calculations, and visualize data in a structured way. This foundational understanding is important because formulas and functions are what make spreadsheets powerful. They allow you to automate calculations, saving you time and reducing errors. Whether you're summing up sales figures, calculating averages, or analyzing trends, these tools are essential. So, as we move forward, keep in mind that mastering how to manage spreadsheets with formulas and functions is crucial for efficient data handling. It's about transforming raw data into meaningful insights, which ultimately supports better decision-making. Now, let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on charts and images. Spreadsheets are more than just rows and columns of data. They can also include visual elements that make the information easier to understand. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? Well, at its core, a spreadsheet is a digital grid used to organize, analyze, and store data. It allows us to perform calculations, create reports, and visualize information effectively. When we add charts and images to a spreadsheet, we're enhancing our ability to communicate complex data clearly and quickly. For example, a chart can show trends over time, making patterns obvious at a glance. Images can provide context or highlight specific details. Managing these visual elements carefully is crucial because they support the overall goal of clear, effective data presentation. Remember, the key is to use charts and images to complement your data, not clutter or distract from it. This way, your spreadsheets become powerful tools for analysis and communication, aligning with our broader theme of efficient digital work. Now, let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically focusing on charts and images. These elements are essential tools for visualizing data and making our spreadsheets more informative and engaging. When we think about a spreadsheet, we're usually picturing rows and columns of numbers, but adding charts and images can really bring our data to life. A spreadsheet is essentially a digital grid where we can organize, analyze, and present information efficiently. Charts help us transform raw numbers into visual representations, making trends and patterns much easier to spot. And images can add context or clarity, especially when illustrating concepts or making presentations more appealing. Incorporating these visual elements isn't just about aesthetics, it's about improving understanding and communication. As we move through the presentation, keep in mind that mastering how to manage and customize charts and images will greatly enhance the impact of your spreadsheets. It's all about making data accessible and compelling for your audience. Let's talk about managing spreadsheets, specifically how to share and collaborate effectively. Spreadsheets are incredibly powerful tools for organizing data, performing calculations, and analyzing information. But their true potential is unlocked when we share them with others and work together seamlessly. So, what exactly is a spreadsheet? At its core, it's a grid composed of rows and columns where you can input, organize, and manipulate data. Think of it as a digital ledger or a flexible table that can handle anything from simple lists to complex financial models. The key here is that spreadsheets are not just static files. They are dynamic tools designed for collaboration. When you share a spreadsheet, multiple people can view, edit, and contribute to the same document, which makes teamwork more efficient and transparent. This capability is especially important in today's fast-paced environment, where real-time updates and collaborative input can significantly improve accuracy and decision-making. As we continue to explore these tools, remember that effective sharing and collaboration are central to maximizing their benefits and streamlining our workflows. Now, let's dive into the process of analyzing and organizing data using filters. When we talk about filters, we're essentially talking about tools that help us narrow down large data sets to focus on the most relevant information. This is crucial because, as data sets grow bigger, it becomes harder to identify meaningful insights without some form of organization. Using filters allows us to pinpoint specific criteria, such as date ranges, categories, or numerical thresholds, to isolate the data points that matter most for our analysis. Think of filters as a way to clean and refine your data, making it easier to interpret and draw conclusions from. This step is a vital part of the overall data analysis process because it helps us reduce noise and focus our attention where it counts. By organizing data effectively through filters, we're setting a solid foundation for more advanced analysis and ensuring that our insights are accurate and actionable. So, in the context of our presentation, understanding how to analyze and organize data with filters is key to transforming raw data into meaningful information that can guide decision-making. Let's talk about analyzing and organizing data, specifically focusing on sorting. Sorting is a fundamental step in managing data because it helps us arrange information in a meaningful order. Whether we're organizing numbers from smallest to largest or alphabetizing names, sorting makes data easier to understand and analyze. It allows us to quickly identify patterns, find specific data points, and prepare data for further processing. When we sort data, we can do it in different ways, ascending or descending order, depending on what makes the most sense for our task. This step is crucial in many areas, like preparing reports, performing audits, or even making decisions based on the organized information. By effectively sorting data, we're taking an essential step toward making sense of complex information, which ties into our overall theme of data analysis. It's about transforming raw data into a clear, structured format that supports better insights and decisions. Now, let's move on to analyzing and organizing data using conditional formatting. This is a powerful tool that helps us quickly identify patterns, trends, and outliers in our data sets. By applying specific formatting rules, we can make important information stand out visually, making it easier to interpret and analyze. Conditional formatting is especially useful when we're working with large amounts of data because it saves us time and enhances our ability to spot key insights. For example, we can highlight cells that contain values above or below a certain threshold, or apply color scales to show relative differences. Remember, the goal here is to organize our data in a way that highlights what really matters, so we can make informed decisions faster. This technique ties into the overall theme of effective data management and analysis, helping us turn raw numbers into meaningful, actionable information. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions or would like to get in touch, here are my contact details. You can reach me via email at contact@Madany.com or Dr. Yasser, Madany@yahoo.com. Additionally, I'm available through IEE.org at Madany@IEE.org. For more information about my work and projects, please visit my website at https://imadany.com. Once again, I appreciate your time and engagement throughout this presentation. Thank you very much.